guys, Casey here. Welcome back to another episode. I do have a confession. I missed a week. So last week I did not record the garden at all whatsoever. In my defense, I'm actually really busy. I'm sorry. So this week is going to be week, I want to say 17, which should have been 18. And it'll just be what it is because there's no going back in time and changing that. But a lot has happened in the garden actually, and I'm really excited to show it to you because this is where things start to actually get interesting. So let's just get started. Let's start with the golden sweet pea. It's actually doing really, really well. In fact, it's got golden sweet peas on it, and it's got some pretty flowers. Here's a blue one, a purple one. All in all, this is the best plant in the garden, really. So far, it is a winner to be planted every year. Snap pea is coming in slowly and yet but surely. I mean, obviously it's bigger than what you saw last time, and it's finally giving us some peas. Got one down in here that's actually just a little pea. White flowers from what I can tell, and only white flowers, which is perfectly fine, but definitely a slow grower compared to its mate here on the other side. But we'll see who tastes better in the long run. As far as the beans go, I'm actually kind of slightly worried about them. They've gotten a few more leaves on them, but they haven't grown hardly at all, and I know why. So for all of last week, which is another reason why I didn't get out here and record a video, it rained all week long. There wasn't a second where there wasn't water falling from the sky. It was pretty awful actually, and thus it was kind of cold. And in fact, I woke up this morning to a frost. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was, I want to say 39 degrees at 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was pretty chilly, and beans don't like chili. So I'm not surprised that they're a little sad. I hope that it doesn't affect them any more so than it already has. Okay, so back behind me is the jelly melon, and as you can see, it's not so hot. In fact, it's looking better than it had in the past, but it has completely stopped growing, and all of its tendrils that it was using to trellis have died back. And again, it's because of the weather. When I transplanted them out, it was nice and warm, and then it wasn't. And these are summer plants. They do require warm weather. Hopefully they will bounce back. This is the honeydew. Not only has he lost all of his tendrils that he was using to trellis, he also lost most of his leaves. He does have new foliage that is coming in on the top, and hopefully he will come back. He's got one more new tendril right here, so that's a plus. I did go ahead and plant seeds straight into the beds just the other day of everything but the Mexican gherkin, just in case these ones do die. Maybe those ones will pop up and be stronger. And I should still just barely have enough time, if they grow right now, to have them start from in ground. Which you may be asking why I don't just do that to begin with, and that's because, well, I'm not a patient person. Okay, so we have next the lemon cucumber. Again, affected just the same. He didn't lose nearly as many leaves or tendrils. In fact, a couple of his tendrils are coming back, but he is loaded with flowers. I just hope they actually do something, and of course, he grows a little taller. I do see another new tendril coming in right here. As soon as they start clinging on, though, I know they'll just take off. Mexican gherkin obviously was doing really good in the cup, growing very, very tall. As soon as he was transplanted, though, tendrils died, leaves started to die back. They did this to me last year as well, and it took them a while to come back last year. It really did. So I'm not super surprised on this, but I want to show you something. Look at that baby Mexican gherkin. Alright, here are the two Purple Beauty bell pepper plants, both of which are giving off flowers and growing bell peppers. Even the sad one that I said I was going to get rid of, but clearly did not. And then the new one, both of which are doing pretty good. Look at those little baby bell peppers. This plant obviously is way, way healthier than this one, and this goes to show you that even though it looks like crap, and is clearly having issues. It will still give me peppers, probably not as many as a happy one, but we'll still do it. Here is the Chinese pink celery. I untied him because he was just getting too big. So he's free and growing good. The blue curled Scottish kale, doing really good. Tastes like broccoli, so pretty tasty. The scarlet kale, also doing really good. This is the scalloped squash. Finally looking so good, it's not even funny. Oh, look, he's got a bloom. So when I set the squash out here, they had flowers, and then it was just too much for them, and they died back, lost most of their leaves. I'm happy to see they're coming back. I thought this one was going to die in particular. This is the prolific straight neck squash, and he's doing okay. He's obviously got some new growth growing on here, and then some sad growth dying back. He had a lot of flowers too when I planted him out here, and obviously those didn't turn out so well. Back here, looking as small as ever, is the mini bell, and then the banana pepper. Now both of these guys are struggling because they are shaded 95% of the time by the humongous broccoli plant I have. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. You see the size of this thing? It's freaking massive. I know absolutely nothing with broccoli. I don't know what it needs to be fertilized. I don't know if it needs pruning. I don't know a lot of things about broccoli, so this one is a guessing game. I mean, is it just gonna sit here and grow leaves and take over my garden and give me no broccoli? Does its leaves taste like broccoli? Should I just eat it? I was contemplating leaning over and taking a bite out of it, but there's totally spider webs on it. We're not gonna do that. I remember a while back I took a video and I showed the leaf to the palm of my hand because I was in awe of how big it was. Well, yeah, about that. So this strawberry plant has given us quite a few strawberries, and they've all been perfect. Perfect in shape, perfect in color, and pretty tasty too. But I'm quite amazed because our other strawberry plant gives us ugly strawberries that are very tasty. So it's unique to see a perfect strawberry that tastes good. I thought maybe that other plant might have been malnourished or something, but the first year, and it still grows very ugly strawberries. We laid tarps down, if you're wondering, back here to suppress the weeds, and we're gonna lift them up. It's been about a month now, actually, and hopefully all the weeds below it are dead, but I also know there's a family of mice living under them, so. So it's starting to become the time in which I need to harvest garlics. And I don't know if you guys can tell from here, but they started to grow scapes. And that is a sign of it's nearly time. And I can't wait. I am a little worried though, because I dug back in my denial to check the size of their bulbs, and they're not very big. So that means I either planted them too early, the weather's freaking them out, or I didn't give them the right nutrients, which nitrogen for garlic will increase leaf growth but not bulb growth. So I might have had too much nitrogen in the garden bed this year, which sucks, but it is what it is. Any garlic's garlic for me, I guess, right? Even these garlics are starting to die back a little bit more, so the time is coming in which I need to harvest them. It's almost time for some garlic powder, and I'm pretty excited about that, to be honest, because I ran out and I could definitely use some more. You want to talk about things that have weird reactions to odd weather. This is a carrot that is trying to bolt. It's not showing any flowers yet, but this is typically what a bolting flower will start to look like, or a bolting anything really. It'll get really tall and thick and hardy, whereas you can see all the others are looking normal. I did dig down on him as well, and there's nothing there. Round 1 of the beets is looking as pathetic as always. My strange flower plant that's not flowering is just getting bushy. Round 2 of the beets is looking pretty good. This is what I like to see right here. I don't know why more of them are not like this. I did fertilize them not too long ago, so hopefully that'll fix it. We do have another banana pepper over here in the garlic plants, and he's doing all right. There's my trumpet vine, finally looking like a frickin' plant. The apricot lemonade cosmoses are doing pretty good. I would love to see them flower. I cannot wait for it. I spy with my little eye a green tomato. Not just any green tomato, a variegated vernal sausage tomato. And 2 chocolate cherries. Okay, let's talk tomato plants. They're all doing really, really good. Have pretty much made a 100% comeback as far as they're gonna survive. I mean, even with the frost last night, it wasn't a killing frost, so they're fine. They're giving tomatoes, they're giving flowers, they're growing. A lot of them still have their leaf curl. In fact, some of them got worse the other day, and I've come to the conclusion that it's probably just the cold weather that's making them do that, because they're curling upwards. They're all right. There are a couple of them that are curling downwards. There is no reason to worry. I'm not gonna panic and freak out and water them, because they'll curl for being no water, too much water, not enough food, too much food, not enough sun, too much sun. So the chances of me actually being able to tell you what's really wrong with them is pretty darn hard. And I could struggle and kill myself and spend all the time trying to figure out what it is, or I can just let the plants grow, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna let them grow. I'm gonna let them give me tomatoes. They'll either bounce back or they won't. Either way, they'll be fine. I did come through and bag all of my tomato plants for saving seeds. And this way, when a bee comes down the line, because they're pretty close together, they don't actually get cross-pollinated. And then I also went through and marked with blue string the bags, or the places where I put the bags. And that is because last year I discovered that I would take the bags off when the tomatoes started to form. They don't need to be bagged once the flower is pollinated. And then I would forget which ones I bagged. The only concern I do have is I've seen not a single bee. Well, maybe one bee. I've also haven't seen any hornets, wasps, or yellow jackets, which I'm not really complaining, but usually our little hornet wasp nest catcher thingy is full and have been emptied at least once before, and there's not a single one in it at all this entire season so far. I am honestly slightly concerned, and by slightly I mean very, because I'm fine with self-pollinating the tomatoes, especially on a cattle paddle. I'll come through and just wiggle it, or, hit it to where it vibrates, and that's really all it needs. And it's a lot easier to do that than it is to come through and individually flip all of the flowers on a tomato plant, which you can also. And the wind's gonna pollinate them when it comes through pretty strongly as well. But at least when I shake the trellis. But what about my bees? Where are they? But we'll see, and hopefully they come around. I'll let you guys know. Maybe I never really had bees to begin with. There's a neighbor a couple houses down that actually have bee boxes. Maybe they don't have bees anymore, and that's why I don't see any. The Tommy Toe, which has set fruit. The first Verna sausage, which has not set fruit and is starting to give me flowers for the first time. That's why he's the only plant that doesn't have a bag on him, because he's finally setting flowers. Verna sausage 3, which was the first tomato to set fruit in the garden this year. Well, first tomato I let set fruit. The chocolate cherry, the second to set fruit. He's doing pretty good. Second tallest tomato in the garden, right up next to the sun gold, which is miraculously still here. Bottoms are very, very curly, much like the Wagner blue-green. Doesn't know if it wants to curl up, down, in, or out. The tops are curly, but not as bad. All in all, his color's okay. A little dark. Nothing major. Blue cream, some major upward curl. But all in all, it's pretty damn healthy. The blueberries are growing a little out of hand. I'm gonna have to come in and tie them up a little different. And then the black seaman is doing okay, looking like he does best. Setting off flowers. Doing good though. What you doing, chickadoo? Chickadoo! You guys sure do like that plastic bag. But it accumulates lots of bugs for you guys. Oxheart still has some upward leaf curl to it, but as you can see, is doing really good all in all. I mean, it's gotten greener, it's gotten bushier, it's gotten livelier, it's setting off huge blooms. In fact, oh, look at that. It is my very first fasciated bloom. This is gonna form 2 tomatoes, and I'm gonna let it. 2 tomatoes in one. Here's a single bloom. A double bloom. This is my first one. The Waspicon peach, or whatever the fuck it is now, I've decided officially, it is going to be the Wisconsin beech. Because peach sounds like beach, so you are now the Wisconsin beech. I do have to come in and re-tie up some of these guys because they're starting to outgrow that. Berries Crazy Cherry, doing pretty good. Sweetie Tomatoes, looking awesome. Looks like we let a sucker grow out on you, didn't we? A huge sucker nonetheless. It's what I do in situations like this, where I've clearly missed a sucker and it has grown quite large like this. I just top it off and call it good. That way I stick to my single stem. This is the Japanese black trifle, and look at, it's actually got happy leaves for once in its life. Oop, I broke it until I touched it. They're not as curly, still droopy, but not as curly. Is the world's saddest cucumber plant. I told you guys I cannot grow cucumbers. Carrots or cucumbers. I don't know why, but I can't. On the bright side, one of the marigolds that I planted is finally bloomed. Look at how cute that is. I did tie him to save some seeds from him. I'm probably going to save seeds from all of my flowers because I don't like buying seeds. That's a freaking lie. I love buying seeds, but I don't like having what I had the year before is the real issue. Some more marigolds coming up. This is the Wagner Blue Green. As you can see, still very, very curly. Super duper curly. The curliest plant I have. It's so curly, it doesn't even know if it wants to curl up or down anymore. Summer down, summer up, summer in, summer out. It's still giving flowers, and it still has grown, and it's still a good color, and I'm still not going to worry about it. And then the Subarctic Plenty is doing all right. Got some suckers on there. Giving flowers. None of these guys have set fruit yet, unlike the other trellis. Look, the bee balms have finally, changed, and they're taking off. So as you can see, the onions are going to town. In fact, I have taken the tops off of them so many times it's not even funny. And every day I come out here, I have to take the tops off of more. I will show you up close this bed, and then I will show you the store-bought onions that I have in the tomato bed. We're gonna take a good look at the difference between self-planted and box store onions. Like these guys' bases are no joke. That is how thick they are. I wish my garlics were this promising. So their bulbs aren't quite forming just yet, but they are as thick as those stalks. Getting a little plumper. This bed's really good for onions because it's a very soft, loomy soil. So I don't have to dig around them to get their bulbs to form. It's just so soft they do it on their own. And you can see all the tops that I've taken off of them. And the tops that I need to take off of them. And I just pop when they get riley like this and floppy, I take them off. Obviously, I don't peel the tops off of the leeks. But I have more leeks than I thought hiding within the onions. Here is the onions from the box store. Notice they get smaller and smaller down the line. They're bulbing really, really well. I'll give them that much. But that is about it. These onions in comparison to the ones in the background is kind of laughable. While we're here, this is the shishito, setting off flowers and giving me peppers, and this is definitely the happiest looking pepper plant. I don't think you guys have seen, but these are the okras, the crimson spineless okras. I'm pretty happy to see them. And then there's the eggplant, our not so happy eggplant. The bed of edamame, getting kind of eaten by bugs like they do every year, but they're doing pretty darn good. And as you see here, this is the same color string that I tied on everything that I need to save seeds for. So I can just see it. It's a bright colored string. I'll know what's coming. I stuck a stick in the ground because I am out of these edamame seeds. I have no more, so I'll have to dry the pods and save them that way. I ended up sticking the Kiku chrysanthemum melon down here at the end of the edamame bed, simply because it doesn't trellis. It's I don't know if it's supposed to crawl on the ground or what. Hasn't gotten any bigger than this since I planted it. It has grown a couple of new leaves though, and has given me a flower, so hopefully it will come back. I don't know what it is, but my Chinese chives have shrunk in size. I swear to God, they've shrunk in size. I'm gonna have to dig them up next year and spread out their roots though. They're probably growing a little too tight. And looky, the mysterious purple flowers are doing really good too. Here is the Valkyrie aster. Still not flowering, but looking pretty tasty. I mean, good. Looks like lettuce to me. So this is what happens when you don't read the size and width of a plant before you plant it in your very small flower bed. I believe that is the larkspur. Part of me wants to say that's wrong though, so I'll have to read the seed pack, which I did collect seeds from it last year. Very gorgeous blue flowers. This plant has gotten bigger and bigger every year. We've had it for about 3 years now. It's gonna have to move next year. There's some more jump up Johnnies down there. I'm barely surviving that big plant there. This should be the Sea Star Aster, a cosmos plant, and some poppies that self-seeded from last year. So the mints are exactly as they were weeks ago, which is started but not doing anything. Not mints, basils. I don't know what they're doing. Pansy. Mums came back to life. See the death? They're alive! Pansies. Damn bachelor buttons. Not smooth for these zinnias, and I am very upset about that. There might be some zinnias in here. The things that look like carrots. But now that I know that this thing's overridden with bachelor buttons, kind of sad. Swiss chard, solar flare lettuce, and black-seeded Simpson. Black-seeded Simpson and solar flare. New fire reds are in all the other baskets. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with these poor lilies because they are in so need of more sunlight. They grow leaning forward like this, and I have to kind of hold them up. And I need to move their string up a little more so that it balances them a little better. Poor things are just super sad. But I'm glad that my Irish moss is doing really good. Coral bells is doing really good. Tiger lilies also need to be moved, but all in due time. Okay guys, so I'm gonna head inside, edit a few videos and post them, and I promise I won't miss another week at least, unless I for some reason catch COVID or something. But that is the end of week whatever the hell week we're on. 17, I guess. 16, 17. So until next time, bye.